Hey man, welcome back to Man Time. Today's episode, I've got the G660 on the bench here. I've ran about 5 tanks of fuel through it. This is going to be my first maintenance service, and I want to look at it, see if I can't do a few upgrades. Welcome to Man Time. So I've just started in on the G660 maintenance. First thing I'm doing, I'm taking off the air filter, taking off the airbox cover. I went ahead and blew this out, but there was a bunch of fines and a bunch of, sawdust built up around this air filter. Yeah, notice that there was fines and particulate inside of where this goes on here. One of the first upgrades may be to put some sealant around here, maybe even just some grease. Grease right around there, and there's a little channel right here. If I can get in the sun a little bit. There's a little channel right in there, and I think if I put some grease, kind of right in there, it would help catch a lot of the fines that we're getting into it. But one thing I've been wanting to do was pull out some of these tabs. So I grabbed just a pair of wire snips, and I've got a couple of them out. I think this is going to work just fine. I want to try to highlight some of the things you can do to upgrade your power basically free of charge with just some basic hand tools. So there was a big round one right in here. Went ahead and broke that one out, so now it's got a straight shot of air right down in through there. The next one I did was on the outside here, and let's just do one together. Let's see here. I'm going to take off one of these on the outside. Let's just go ahead and do this one here. And basically just get your wire snips on either side, and after that it'll just pop right out. So there you go. Now we got a couple straight shots in, and we've still got the support I think we're going to need so that air filter doesn't start coming apart on us. So I want to take out more. Yeah, this center one here, it looks like there's a little clip that kind of clips in there. I think I'm going to go with just this for now, and we'll try it out. If we need to go a little bit further, we'll do that. But I think that's the only modification for now. Grease on there. Get this back on here. Yeah, I think that's all it needs. This is just too hard of a plastic on here, so I'm going to put a little grease down in there. Alright, next thing I want to look at is inside of this muffler. And I already had a bolt loosening up on me, so it's a good thing I'm doing this actually to Loctite these in, since they weren't Loctited initially. Also looks like I'm getting some oil or something on there. Yeah, the Stihl ones don't typically have Loctite, and they do have the same kind of locking bolt pattern underneath of here that the Stihl ones do. They just aren't as effective apparently. But yeah, I've seen where these mufflers have a big baffle on the inside of them, and I want to get that fixed up as cheaply as possible, basically. I've seen where some people have drilled. There's like some spot welds, and you can get a spot weld shallow tip drill and drill those out, but you're taking a pretty big risk if you don't have the right drill. You could also take and have a really small ceramic fiberglass cutoff wheel and get down in there and cut it off right at the exhaust outlet, and there again maybe requiring a little bit more specialized of a tool, and I may do that. I'm sure I've got one of those around here somewhere. But yeah, here's what I'm talking about. That big baffle right there. It's got a couple holes on either side, and then it's open on the top of it. But I want to get as much of that material removed as I can, and then we'll see how it runs after that. Let me get this out of here, and then I'll show you nice up close. Yeah, here's what we're looking like after our first 5 tanks. and you can see there the piston. It actually has a little bit of red armor on it there, but man, that red armor runs clean, clean, clean. You can actually see a little bit of the red on that exhaust port, but the piston, everything, I mean, there's like zero carbon in there. Just beautiful. So here's what our exhaust looks like, the muffler. It's got this big just chunk of steel with some holes drilled in either side of it. And if you're looking at it, you know, coming straight out of the exhaust port, you're just hitting a big wall in there. So, I mean, the best way to probably do that would be to come in here and try to cut along the edge somehow. Yeah, that'd probably be the best way. If you can cut along here and maybe down along there, probably the best way to do it. But how would we do that? Alright, man, I decided to do this the right way. I broke out the Dremel, one of these, you know, cutting bits here. I'm just going to cut right along the edge, right along the edge. It's actually fully boxed. So the more I looked at it, you know, there's a box on all four sides of it. So it's really restricting that exhaust flow. Without it on here, though, we're going to see a lot more. And first thing I did was took a chisel and chiseled off the top. It was able to break free there, so now I think I'm just on either side there, and I should be able to get it off. These metal metal bits are not good. Can't remember if I got these from like Lowe's or Harbor Freight or where. I think it was Harbor Freight, but they're junk. The diamond coating on here, this disc is just not thick enough to hold that diamond coating along the outside edge. So, I mean, it immediately just goes to garbage. But let's try with one of the kind of normal ones, I guess you could call them, and see if this works. Alright, well, that was the entire thing. Hopefully we can make a little progress here. Alright, there we got one side of it to break out, and the other side should just be able to wiggle that off of there. Alright, there we go. As far as the little bit of cleanup there, I'm going to throw on a, what am I going to throw on? Probably a drum sander, and start drum sanding. Okay, carbide it is. Well, we've got our muffler all cleaned up inside of there. I've got all of it deburred, blown out. Even went over to the garden hose and sprayed it out with cleaner and water. Looks like there's still a slight amount of sparkles in there. We'll wipe those out. A little bit of carbon or red armor that's still in its liquid form that it's adhered to there. But yeah, that all looks good. I'm going to throw the gasket back on here, making sure that I have got it kind of where it wants to go, back to its original spot. And then I've put Loctite on the screws here. So hopefully those won't loosen up in the future on us. And then we'll go to setting it back in here. Yeah, this is actually more free-flowing than what it would have came with stock. It's got an open port. It's got an open port straight through here with a little fin on it, and then it's also got another one, right here on the front cover. But you can see where it was heating up right there on the top, and that was because that exhaust was trying to come out of there, out of that little box that was inside of this this muffler, like much faster than it was allowing it to. So it's kind of what was going on there. Let's see. Yeah, I had a problem with these lining up the last time, so I want to get. Matter of fact, I think I've already had this off because these didn't line up quite exactly right. Yeah, that one's just a little bit off there. And this one is just a little bit off too, I think. Yeah. So before I tighten these up, I want to make sure those are going to go in. But yeah, it looks like the exhaust port and the muffler lineup is pretty good there. Alright, Loctited and cinched into it. Alright, I think that does our muffler upgrade and our intake upgrade. A couple other upgrades that I've already done to it. I've had to replace the fuel line coming into the carb. It was seeping a little bit of gas there. And then, oh, what else did I do to it? I think that's pretty much it. I haven't done too much. Yeah, just really haven't done too much to it. So this has still been in the videos that you've seen. It's still been running in stock form, and basically zero upgrades. So what you've been seeing in my previous videos, if you're looking at getting the saw and not really wanting to do anything to it, what you've seen is what you can expect the saw to run. Oh, I did do one more thing. I upgraded the bolts right here for the dogs. I upgraded those to a regular M5 hex or whatever, Allen-headed, black, and then Loctited those, and then went in and re-Loctited these also. So, but let's choke it, fire it up here, and see how it sounds with that new exhaust modification. Ooh, boy, that sounds much healthier. I don't think we're going to be seeing these same hot spots on the muffler coming back. I think it's got plenty of exhausting now without that big baffle in there. Hell, let's go put it in some wood. Alright, man, we are back out at it with the G660 after the muffler mod. Slight modification to that little air boot, or whatever you want to call it there. Air deflector, I don't know. Alright, let's choke it, see how it starts. I'm gonna make some I'm gonna make some big cuts. Big cuts. We're gonna test this thing. Ooh, decomp. Yeah, it already sounds much better. And this is gonna be like a even a typical mod that people do, you know, for a dual port muffler. You know, that's already done to the can side of it, so. Yeah, this thing is running excellent. Very good. I don't know if it's running better. I mean, it feels like it's running better. Hard to say without doing a side-by-side in the same piece of wood. But let's rip some wood, and, you know, it definitely sounds better, that's for sure. Wow, what a saw. I'm really happy with this one. I probably would have liked to have the Stihl model better, you know, like I ordered, but came as a clone. If you missed that video, go back and check it out. I ordered a Stihl chainsaw, and then I go through all the things to look out for, so you don't get scammed like I did. But anywho, this one's running pretty good. I can't tell much of a difference with the muffler mod. I do know that the last time I touched this chain up, I didn't do it any favors. It was ripping and kind of pulling to the right, I guess, as it was coming down through there. So one side is cutting better than the other side for sure. Anywho, it's running pretty good, and if you want to do a muffler mod to yours, that's, you know, quick and easy way to do it. Breaking off some of those fins might or might not have helped. I think that muffler mod definitely helped though. Anywho, that's going to do it for today. I'm man time to get out there, have you some man time too.